Since you've been gone.
We're back, baby. It's been too long.
Yeah.
Did I forget how to podcast? Probably. We'll find out in the next hour.
Absolutely. Oh my god.
What
okay.
what's bothering
my phone.
you?
There's things happening. You know what? Hey. Welcome to your weekly corner, Späti. Things are happening. Things were probably happening while we were gone.
Nope. Time stopped. I don't know what you're talking about.
I rang them up and I was like, "Hey, mates, stop,
stop it." I got really into, I don't know, what's like a really weird thing I could get into. I got really into Reiki. How about that? How about I just become a weird guy, a weirder guy than I already am?
What's like a
touch me, but don't touch me.
Or just like, what's kind of what's a fun one of just like, I guess like any mobile phone game. That's also off-putting. If you go away for a couple of months, you come back being like, I'm into Honkai Star Rail, and I'm like, don't talk about that.
Yeah. It's not like if I came back and I was like, I really got into like Sudoku puzzles, that'd be fine. Like I feel that there's a certain like level of game on my phone that I can be into.
Oh yeah, some Sudoku.
I'm into the malware ones that then it just is an ad. I just see it and I download it and I don't. It's a fucking
guys. I finally got into those. What do you do for the last 2 months, Gareth? Like, I got really into those games where you're like a soldier shooting in one row or another, and one row has power ups and one row has enemies. I finally found the real version of that game, and I've been playing it. Because all those, all of those are like the game is not like that. Those games, like the the ad is connected. Yeah, it's nuts. They get away with that. I also don't understand what Whiteout is. You ever seen the ads for Whiteout, where it's like it's meant to be like a.
Is it like a snowboard game?
No, it seems to be implying it's like a post-apocalyptic situation where the entire Earth now has like a Alaska style climate, or northern Canada style climate, right? But then some of the ads are just like, make more lumber and sell the lumber. Oh no, you're not making enough lumber, and the people who are in their trucks are angry waiting for lumber. It's like, wait, we have like a truck shipping infrastructure. In the last clip you showed me, I had to hunt polar bears for meat. I don't understand why we still have like commerce. What are we doing?
Yeah, the best one though, forever and always, will always be the ones where it's like my stinky wife or whatever. And
yeah.
And like
those games are the story ones. They're never as cool as the ads though. Of like, what's the one that everyone loves where like you're playing like a new member of the mafia and then you walk in on like the mafia don's wife cheating on him with a woman, and you just like shoot someone saying LGBT rights.
Yeah, those games are totally real, right?
They are, but the situations are just never that cool.
Okay, yeah. The one game that then did surprise me was real, which is a real game for console, is the one where you're like a lawyer, the Japanese one.
Oh yeah, Ace Attorney.
Yes.
Yeah,
but there's like multiple versions of the game.
Yeah, it's a huge franchise.
Yes. I did not realize that was real until maybe like 2 years ago. Or a friend of mine was like, "Those games rock." Like,
yeah, they do, because there's like you basically playing a lawyer. You're basically playing a lawyer, and the person who like committed the crime or committed the murder was like a painting, and you're like, there's sections of that game where there's like a budgie on the witness stand. Wonderful stuff. Anyway, we need to talk about like the news of this week, because there's been two things. One is like actual serious European geopolitics thing, and then the other one is Eurovision,
which is now somehow turning into
absolutely
European geopolitics. I guess we can talk about it when it then like We can talk about it when we get to talking about Eurovision, but there is a bone I have to pick. You shared it, but it's fine. Anyway, the world at large, apparently things were happening when we were gone, I guess. I don't know. I was too busy. Like I said, I was too busy getting into Reiki and the stinky feet game.
Well, clear for the record, my feet are not stinky. Just my wife on my phone's
feet, her feet are stinky. And that's the premise of the game somehow. I don't know. I can't get past this level.
I don't know what to do. There's two options: soap and more stink, and I always keep hitting more stink. Anyway, okay, yeah. So let's start with okay. In general, let's set the scene at the moment, which is
Europe 2025. How did we get here?
Just like Ursula von der Leyen at the head of the commission, just like record scratch. Yeah, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got here. Oh no. Okay, so context is, I think the big thing is Trump is trying to ram through a peace deal, a Ukraine-Russia peace deal that has, by and large, making a very simple statement here, caught the rest of Europe with their trousers down. They didn't. There's very big questions about the fact that, like, hey, why didn't the rest of Europe like plan for eventual peace? And that seems to be like kind of an issue in its own right.
I mean, all right, let's not get too much into me being like as the German would be the Russlandversteher. There is the oddity of all this to me. It comes in two parts, right? It's like the one part being that then Trump legitimately from the beginning of his administration thought that he could like come in and be like, oh, I'm the deal maker, I'm going to get this deal done, and then just didn't realize that Vladimir Putin, 2 years, almost 3 years now into a war, or wait, no, it's even longer now, almost 4 years into a war, is not really budging on any form of, you know, whatever deal making that then Trump thinks he can like pull up his sleeve. Like Trump thinks he's in the same position that he was when he was president last term with dealing with Russia. And I do think that there is a bit of truth that then that Europe is really in like forever war mode, because the thing, and like, because this is kind of like, take it for what you will, and you know, I've been speaking to a lot of Ukrainian taxi cab drivers about this. But I mean like the handful of like Ukrainians that I know, and it is like an issue that then of course they're not like, you know, solidly all, you know, agreeing with, but it is kind of like you have the camp of people that then are like, okay, like war forever, this and that and that, and then there's like another camp of Ukrainians that are like kind of accepting the factor that then that it's like there is going to probably be land given away to Russia. That sucks, but also the war is definitely worse. And Europe is really much in, also because Europe has not had to sacrifice anything in this whatsoever. Except for,
and it's not willing to either.
It's not, of course. Like no country is going to give troops, no country is going to give anything other than weapons, because that's kind of all they've been kind of, you know, used to doing. But they're fine with Ukraine kind of going until like, you know, until it is physically impossible. It is getting to that point. I mean, we're getting to the point as well, like, you know, Vladimir Zelensky is incredibly unpopular within the country of Ukraine, to the point where then like he possibly could be like become, you know, go to CIA heaven here in the near future.
I think I mean, I don't want to like claim that the plan of the Europeans is to, you know, and by Europeans I mean like EU, NATO.
Yeah, EU,
Europe,
NATO
right?
members, yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to claim that their plan is to like keep fighting until the bitter end for Ukraine or whatever, because I also get the impression
it's weird though too, because but you do have those like look at like if you like ask anyone within the like FDP or their like European group, they do want that, you know, like
they're
who's that?
Like, I'm more positing that the alternative is that they've really deluded themselves.
Yeah,
because like the thing that I think about is, and what we'll get to eventually, is the Belgian PM is like the one really kind of one of the figures really pushing back on this, although there's others, just like in subtler ways.
Mm-hmm.
And in frustration about these like seizing Russian assets discussion that's happening now, he basically just said Russia's not going to lose the war. He kind of like blurted that out, right?
Yeah.
And that's like an interesting thing to me because like, okay, like who are you speaking to in this moment? And I genuinely think he's probably just encountered people in kind of like European Council circles who really think like not 100%, I 85% believe Kaya Kallas thinks that they just need to hold out until something collapses in Russia.
Yeah, which is not going to happen. It's like one of these weird things that then it's like Russia has oddly...
It could happen, but you can't bet on it.
No, of course not. But it's just in the sense, too, that then it's like if this conflict has not been the thing from the get-go that then has not collapsed Russia internally, with all the problems that then Russia has had, with all the economic problems, their economy is now doing fine. You know? They've like found themselves to be quite influential in Africa and Latin America, more so now than before the Ukraine war. You know, Russia's soft power is like fine for them externally. Internally, there's not like a crisis of Vladimir Putin's reign. There was the one hiccup with Wagner, but then since that this conflict has been in a standstill now for pretty much like 2 years or going on 2 years, like Europe, I think it is like maybe there's the more like realist version of it, a person that then is just like, oh well, you know, Putin's Russia is going to collapse, because if you like read any of the like mainstream media stuff about Putin, it just like makes you try to believe that. But if you like know anything about the internal happenings of Russia, you know that that's like further from and this isn't like endorsing this, is just having a realistic view of it, of like there isn't like Putin has less of a crisis of his leadership right now than Vladimir Zelensky currently has within Ukraine. Like, you know, and
the only thing that you could possibly point to of there being a crisis on the horizon for Russia is a lot of that internal economy has kind of gotten a bit stagnant.
Yeah.
In the sense that there was a boon in like basically like the example I go to is Tasty and That's It, the Russian McDonald's, right?
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. But in a sense, they kind of like they just a little bit kind of like reverse shock doctrine themselves of like, okay, I bought, okay, Russian McDonald's is now owned by a Russian guy. Money from McDonald's is not going out to wherever the McDonald's headquarters is in the United States, right?
Hamburger Town, I don't know.
Hamburger Town, USA. Actually, weirdly, the headquarters of McDonald's is that one in Guantanamo Bay.
Fidel Castro was just taking the checks and just, you know, putting them in his drawer.
Yeah, what money?
The McDonald's headquarters is like somewhere near Chicago, if I'm not mistaken.
Feels like like a kind of like Midwest.
It is very much a Midwestern enterprise.
Anyway, that like, you know, taking the McDonald's that were already there and then basically giving it to a Russian did allow for, you know, number go up in Russian economy, right? More money is now staying in Russia with that. That doesn't last though, because it's not like they're really building more of them, or like the growth is going to be modest at best. It's kind of like it's like one of those problems with GDP as a measure of like, okay, yeah, if you time traveled from like 2020 Russia, like 2019, let's say pre-pandemic, and then you arrived in 2025 Russia, you're just like, oh, McDonald's got a rebrand. Nothing has changed. Like it's not like it's not like a huge thing.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of those similar type things where like Russian homegrown alternatives were able to move into the brands that kind of left. But also like a bunch of Chinese companies did as well. A bunch of other companies just didn't leave. So it does strike me that I'm not sure if you read that thing that Bloomberg got a hold of where Russia's main point guy, like there's Witkoff right in the United States, Kushner, and then like Russia's main point guy with the US Ukraine talks, I've forgotten his name, Dmitry something I want to say.
Sure,
Maybe I'm just
yeah.
being racist to Russians. They're all called Dmitry. But like they basically had a meeting in Miami where they drew up a plan where basically what it comes down to is we'll negotiate a peace in Ukraine, and then in exchange, Russia will give American companies preferential access to the reopening of the Russian market. Which is to say,
we literally
Europe gets
talked about this like before we went on the break, did we not? Of like, this is kind of like Europe is, I think also as well too, not even just the US, but like there is gonna like when something does happen within some level of a like, you know, a long, because it like it probably is going to end up turning into either one of the two things, right? Russia either just takes that land, or you have like a weird Cyprus situation, you know, which probably like, you know, the most like, how do I say this without like sounding like a kook? Like the most beneficial outcome that could be, that's probably never going to happen, is if the eastern part of Ukraine becomes like a demilitarized zone or whatever, that then slowly, probably over time, can then become back, like, you know, probably will never happen then, but like go back into the like, you know, the ownership of Ukraine. Russia will obviously never agree to that. No, Europe won't agree to it probably either, because that would mean to then like, you know, get rid of said, it'd be getting rid of territory, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But for the reality of it is like we're going to have the period of time where then Russia is going to end up annexing officially the eastern part of Ukraine that they have taken. There's going to be like a little period of time where then Europe's going to be sad about that. And then just like the market for Russian things is just going to open back up. Like it's going to be too appealing, especially in the sense that then like Europe's like the general majority of like the powerhouses of the European economy, France and Germany, are just fucking, Germany more so than France, are just collapsing. So
I just want to say, the guy I'm thinking of is who's doing the deal is the one, Kirill Dmitriev.
Oh, you were right on his last name.
There you go.
You could have just thrown in you know what? If you just like picked a name out of hat of like 5 Russian names, you probably could have also gotten Kirill.
Yeah, I'm going to count that as a 0.5 of a point.
Yeah.
Half a point.
Yeah. For those at home who are keeping score.
Keeping score. Yeah, because it's like there's this thing where I'm not particularly optimistic. One, the initial.
Oh no, absolutely not. Like there is no there is no optimistic way to go about this. All of this is horrible.
Yeah. I mean, I'm more just saying like it kind of, I wrote about it in the newsletter. We'll mention that at the end. But there's a certain sense of like inevitability that's kind of like, you know, pressing upon me, that like Trump's plan does seem a little stupid. The plan that he originally put forward kind of looks more like the opening gambit of like what Russia would come to the table for negotiations with. And like, oh yeah, like looking through and be like, yeah, the Ukrainians would agree to that, blah, blah, blah. But like, you know, this is the opening gambit of negotiations, right? You want a raise of 500K, not 500K, Jesus. You want like a raise of 500, you go in asking for 1,000, right? Like it's the kind of shit like that. And but there is just like the sense of inevitability of just like, I also thought the Gaza deal was fucking stupid. And that's also what it's been modeled after as well, of like the Trump's Gaza peace plan. And that just got rammed through as well. Yeah. So it's like,
well, I mean, but that is like, you know, yeah, like Trump very much is like the one thing that he constantly has kind of like been consistent with is his like America first policies. He doesn't give two shits about Europe. He doesn't give two shits about Donald Trump. You could probably like convince him tomorrow that like, oh yeah, like the war's over, and he wouldn't fucking know the difference. You know, he just cares about the sense of that. As long as American companies can be the first ones into Russia, or like he did with the Ukraine plan of allocating natural resources to the United States, like he got what he wanted. You know, the United States is the first one. I mean, Ukraine is our Iraq in the sense that then it's like it's going to be the forever economic zone. It's going to become. It already is the most corrupt place on this continent. It's more corrupt than Iraq currently is. So it's like, what is then the position then to go further with this? It's like you have the fucking weirdos in Europe who are willing for Ukrainians to die as long as, forever and always, this and that and that. They don't want a deal until the borders are back where they are, which is never going to happen. You have Trump, who then is just being like, I just want American businesses to do well, which he is the only consistent thing about his policies half the time. And Russia doesn't even really seem to be clear of what they want anymore, because at the beginning of the conflict, it was no NATO, no EU thing they never really cared about. They also, it was like the militarization of Ukraine they were against. Now they don't care. The NATO thing, even Russia, like Putin on multiple occasions has been like, I don't care if Ukraine joins NATO at this point,
Yeah, and there was also like the thing of initially they kind of went in with we're going to airstrike Kiev until regime change, and then suddenly it's like, oh, now I guess we just wanted like a land bridge to Crimea.
Yeah.
Now that we have it, basically that's what we wanted. They were always vague with their goals.
Yeah, first remember it was denazification. we forgot about that one.
That was in there somewhere.
Yeah. And then that was that didn't last. And then, it became these other and then I think it was just kind of the sense too that then like Putin was just like filling in the blanks within like what other people were kind of saying about it. Like, oh, Russia wants better access to the Black Sea. Russia wants a land bridge to Crimea. Russia wants this. Russia wants actually all of Ukraine, where it's like, no. It gets to the point where then it's like there are then to the point of like, well, that makes sense. And there's also then just like the military, like the incapabilities that Russia has now. They can't take the rest of Ukraine. They sure as hell can't take all of Europe. But that's where I just find like the oddity of it is that then it's like, for at least here, I know that in Ireland it's a different story. The constant like just, rigmarole of just bullshit stuff of that, like if Ukraine does not win, they're going to come from Berlin and Paris next. It's like, they fucking aren't. Russia lost 1/3 of its entire standing military. They're fucked for like the next decade. The U.S. got what they wanted, which is a severely weakened Russian military. Now, what that means in the future for the U.S., I have no fucking clue. That's also insane to think about.
Yeah, and it's also like the stance on, which I guess we can talk a little bit about this White House foreign policy document that was released. Like,
the freaks are really they're just
the freaks are the what is it, the inmates are in charge of the asylum or whatever. That's the phrase. I was going to say the clowns are in charge of the circus. I was like, they might as a socialist, I believe that. I think the clowns should be in charge of the circus.
Also, as a socialist, I feel that the impatient should also be in control of the mental asylum.
It's interesting. I'm going to get the Europe section in particular, but the long and short of like their policy positions is interesting to say the least, because it's like generally the whole document is kind of going along with the idea of America is retreating from everything other than their own hemisphere. And with one of the big things that happened while we were away was hey, what if we invaded Venezuela and a bunch of like corpses of fishermen are just washing up on like the coast of Trinidad and shit like that. It's like really fucking grim at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, like in the sense too of, especially with the Venezuela one, I mean, really just, first off, was it the Polish foreign minister who just is so cucked beyond belief that he like just posted a picture of like B-2 bombers being like, Venezuela, you're next. And it's like, we get it. The Gen X of Poland is so cucked by the end of history that you have no policy other than just sucking the dick of the United States. Like, go away.
I need it to be the case that most people in Venezuela have never heard of Poland. I think that just like,
they absolutely have heard of Poland, and they probably don't like it because they're like, wow, they got no rhythm, they got no good food, they're not Caribbean like us. Pasty white people, stay away. Gringos, I believe, is the word.
But so that's the general vibe of the document, which is kind of interesting. And part of that is like, part of that probably includes not being antagonistic to Russia as America has usually been in the past, along with the fact that it looks like Russia is willing to give America preferential access to their market at the expense, probably, to like Japanese, Australian, and European companies that pulled out of Russia, like when America basically asked them to. So, you know, Russia is kind of like, America's kind of conventional sphere of influence countries are the ones who get fucked. And the Americans do well. And that
America first,
stands to
baby.
reason. America first. And, you know, like, and also, like, at the same time, this is also what Trump, you rightly pointed out, that, like, this is what Trump has been saying about, like, Ukraine, Russia for, like, even during his campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we should get to the actual European bit of that policy paper, because my fucking God. I was going to read the opening
Who wrote
paragraph.
this, by the way?
Oh, ChatGPT.
Okay,
Grok.
Who put in the Grok prompt though for it? Like this is
Pete
shit.
Hegseth.
What? Oh, was it? Yeah, because I'm going to say this has to be from either like JD Vance or Pete Hegseth.
But both Vance and Hegseth, based on the like Signal chat stuff, have definitely been designated Europe. Like people have talked about it. Like Marco Rubio is definitely like the Latin America guy.
They should send him to invade Venezuela. That would rock.
Good luck, buddy.
That's why I'm saying, yeah. It is very funny. I was talking to a Venezuelan friend of mine, and she's like, Maduro's never been more popular in his entire life than now.
Yeah.
Like,
his popularity was like waning before this happened as well.
Her family is very like and was very anti-Maduro, and they're all like they're in the camp now. It's just very like it's like whatever Trump is trying to do is just done the exact opposite. Which is no surprise. That typically is what happens.
No. And like going to the European policy as well, I think that's also going to have a similar effect here because, all right, just want to do the opening paragraph.
You know where Maduro's not popular, though? Poland.
Sorry, I'm loving just like the idea of, if I had time to Photoshop it and just like stick it on like, I don't know, 2021 Twitter, I think this would have worked very well. Of just like, a fake Europe elects popularity, and it has Maduro more popular in Poland than Tusk. Anyway, okay.
I was just thinking of also that too, just like a fake Polish Venezuelan of like Heinrich Himmler, Podolsky, von Hernandez or whatever.
Yeah. Von Caracas, just like I'm exiled Polish nobility from Venezuela.
Donald Tusk, my people yearn for freedom.
Opposition leader in Venezuela, just like Donald Tusk. Sure, fuck it. Nothing means anything anymore. Over the long term, it is more than plausible that within a few decades at the latest, certain NATO members will become majority non-European.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. As such, it is an open, like, okay, so just first sentence, great replacement shit. Love it. I think you could genuinely get Pete Hegseth to die if you told him Turkey was in NATO. Sometimes I don't think he knows. As such, it is an open question whether they will view their place in the world or their alliance with the United States in the same way as those who signed the NATO Charter. Right. Yeah. So there are a lot of stuff about that. Like then it goes into the bullet points, about what they plan to do.
We want
we
want a safe and secure future for the white children of Europe or some shit. Yeah.
I mean, more or less.
Yeah. That's what I'm getting out of it. I'm getting some real 14-word shit right here. I mean,
yeah.
Both Vance and Hegseth, Catholic converts, evil. Is Pete Hegseth a Catholic convert? He might be I know he's Catholic, but he gives convert energy. So,
well, the important thing about Hegseth is he's usually too blasted to remember 14 words.
I'm sure the only 14 words that he can remember are those.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm trying to.
I'm just saying, for people like Pete Hegseth who do love Hitler so much, you're not a real fan, are you? Until you do it.
No. Yeah, so the general, okay, so there's a line in here that got a lot of people concerned, but the main one that I think is, your classic contradiction Trump stuff, foreign policy that, like Maduro being more popular now, is going to backfire in Europe if they actually successfully do it, which is there's kind of like a couple of lines in here that are like, we need to make Europe more like defense self-sufficient, right? That's, more independent, right? This is the thing they always kind of talk about. Basically, your usual kind of conservative bugbear of like, we pay too much into NATO, right?
Yeah.
And then it was like, okay, so Europe has to be self-sufficient. And then the other one is like opening European markets to U.S. goods and services, ensuring fair treatment of U.S. workers and businesses. That is like the contradiction there of just like the kind of like Trump cabinet not realizing why Europe puts up with America, which is like, yeah, you kind of pay for the defense of Europe, or like you're the big, daddy that like NATO Europe can like call to. But if you're not providing that anymore, and like Europe becomes defense self-sufficient, Google, I've never heard of it. I quant everything, actually.
I am here for the French decade of the Chinese century, like I've been saying, and that means I do quant out. No, I don't. I don't even. What are the other ones?
No one quants.
No one quants. There's also the other one, Ecosia or something like that. It's one of the other search engine ones.
Yeah, but Ecosia is built on Bing.
Oh, well, then they're not. Then it is the French feature. We have to only use the French technologies.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Ecosia.
I use Quant on my. Well, I guess France doesn't have a smartphone. They'll figure that one out. But in riding around in my Renault,
it's all there. We just need to spin up the Nokia factory again in Finland. Just like, come on, guys,
but
make
put it in
some
the north
phones.
put it in the north of France.
Yeah. Anyway, so like that's the fun one that's like, okay, this is probably going to backfire. And then the one that got everyone concerned was point number 3, cultivating resistance to Europe's current trajectory within European nations.
What does that mean?
Basically everyone is, I think, interpreting that as, we will be friendlier to you when you vote for the far right.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean,
and like before we went on our break earlier this year, we talked about how Le Pen definitely leaked it herself or someone within her party, but like was approached by the Americans saying like, we'll help you become president of France.
They can't even overthrow a quote unquote dictator anymore. How do you think that they're going to rig? How do you think they're going to do Gladio? All right.
Yeah.
You could,
and it's also getting to the point where like a lot of European fascists don't like the Americans, or don't like being like perceived to be being bossed around by the Americans.
Well, they never did like the Americans, but it was just always the sense too that then they kind of like, I think probably would have been fine with it if they like put them in power.
Yeah.
Like there is just like European fascism is one of the most hilarious things. It needs the United States in order to exist, but it doesn't like it. It's always been that case. You can even make the same argument up until like, people want to point to like, oh, but in World War II, the U.S. fought, Germany and Italy and this and that. And that's like, yeah, until like the very last fucking minute that they couldn't like, go about, ignoring it.
Yeah.
Like,
say what you will, it's hard to ignore an invasion of Poland.
I don't know.
An annexation of Austria we can do, but,
but God forbid.
And the Sudetenland. But like, yeah, Jesus. The reason why, for anyone who missed that episode, kind of a buried Reuters story, but like it was leaked that the Americans approached Le Pen about like, hey, we'll help you become president of France, right? And when we talked about it on the show, I basically posited the idea, and Uma agreed, that it was like 100% it was someone within National Rassemblement who leaked that, who was the one who leaked that the Americans approached us. And you look at polling that like European Council of Foreign Affairs has done. I have problems with them, but they do polling on this kind of stuff. That like even amongst people who vote for Le Pen and National Rally don't like the Americans anymore. Like they are truly going the whole like, we are France, we are great, we have nuke. Fuck these hamburger eating swine, whatever. So like there's that. And then it's just I don't think it's gonna work. I think it's gonna just, and they keep getting pissed off at the whole like buying European stuff that's still kind of happening with the remilitarization.
Yeah.
Where like, it's confused.
Maybe the U.S. should just make shit that people want. Have they thought about that? Like, aside from just
why would you ever have to do that when they're the only country to ever use a nuke?
No, yeah, for
like,
sure, yeah.
You don't have to you don't have to try anymore.
Just spitballing here. It's like the U.S. doesn't make any, like, realistically, aside from like arms manufacturing and like financial scams, there is nothing that the United States exports that like Europe fucking needs, or that then China
Utah
can't.
is the truest American state.
Yeah, like, or that China can't produce cheaper and probably better than the United States can, and Europe's gonna have to fucking
already was.
Yeah,
like in the sense that a lot of American products were like drop shipping stuff that they got.
Yeah,
from,
The United States is a scam, like, as a country. Like, there is, like, why do you think that then that like every fucking loser influencer you see just does Bitcoin or drop shipping? It's like, because there is no actual economy in the country.
Yeah.
Oh, what you're punching in fucking numbers at the racism factory, or you're doing AI? Like, no, there is no industry in the U.S.
So I think there's like people who try to counter the whole AI bubble thing, which I'm not like economically literate enough to say one way or the other. It feels like a bubble to me, but if it's not, whatever, I don't give a shit. But like people who counter that would be like, oh, China's also doing it. It's just like, yeah, China made DeepSeek and stuff, but it doesn't appear that China has rested their entire economy on the success of AI.
No, and China's also made their like DeepSeek and whatnot primarily open source and just exported it to countries that then are willing to have. Like, China has already won the AI war globally. The U.S. just like hasn't. The fact of that then it is that countries that are on Chinese AI are not going to want the racist U.S. version that doesn't do anything, or the Chinese one's working perfectly fine. And yeah, did the Chinese one train on the American one and get stolen? I don't care. It's all fake. It does not matter. The Chinese one, though, is being exported internationally as it is already. The only market that the United States actually is trying to sell its AI to is Europe, who is stupid enough to buy the racist AI. Or
Yeah. Well, there's also possibly the fact that no one's really buying the AI, or no one's buying them. There's people who talk about this better than us, but it's just weird. But like, it's the whole thing in the U.S. economy right now is AI, and then China is just like, hey, we're doing all this other stuff, and also here's DeepSeek.
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, but okay. Getting back to what's happening more in Europe.
All I'm asking is for Comrade G to make it happen. I want to get hit by a Dongfeng 61 ICBM before this is all out. I want to know Chinese technology firsthand.
What was I going to say? Okay, so yeah, you've got that. All of this is the context to them what is happening, which is the trying to seize Russian assets thing, which is bad in a lot of ways and betrays a lot of weird things. First, I'm going to talk about our boy Bart. I believe that's his name, the Prime Minister of Belgium. Just real quick.
Cowabunga, dude.
Don't have a cow. He went to Ursula von der Leyen and he said, don't have a cow.
Do not have a cow.
Yeah. Which type of Belgian are you? I think he's Flemish. That's a Flemish looking last name.
Oh yeah.
Bart de Wever. Bart de Wever, probably.
Bart de Wever sounds like a rapper name.
Yeah, Bart de Wever. Yeah, he's weaving mad rhymes.
Yeah. Bart de Wever. Bart de Wever.
God damn it. So he's the one kind of like pushing back and has been pushing back against the idea of seizing Russian assets. Partly because I think a lot of them are stationed in Belgium is one problem. The thing that he's continuously asked for is like the sharing of the burden if this is legally a problem in the future, or if like Russia is like welcomed back into the global community and starts asking back for this like money, blah blah blah. He's asking like for that to be. He's asking for assurances that bill won't fall entirely on Belgium, basically.
Yeah. You know, Russia should join the European Union. How about that? That'd be a real.
It'd be so fucking weird. Maybe they'd be one of those countries that unilaterally use the euro, like Montenegro. Anyway,
Russia's economy is already fucked up enough as it is. I don't think they need to like make it more challenging.
Yeah, no.
You're sanctioned, but you're on the same currency.
Just do a silly one. This is like, you know, when you get the camera out and it's like, let's do a silly one. Let's do the euro, just cause. Anyway, he's looking for those assurances. He didn't get them, thus he's blocking this shit, right? Ursula von der Leyen then goes and tries and like unilaterally with emergency powers get this to happen at an EU level, which like in the Financial Times had the like funniest fucking quote from an unnamed EU official. Hang on, let me see. This is like first of all, Springer Media is out for blood with like Bart de Wever, which is like they ran the article like how Belgium became Russia's most valuable asset. Fucking bonkers. Anyway, so Financial Times has a good article called "Europe Exhausts Legal Tricks on Frozen Russian Assets," right? Even allies of Ursula von der Leyen said she was testing the limits of EU power by proposing to use emergency measures to ram through up to 210 billion in loans to Ukraine. Critics said she was breaking the bloc's laws. And then one senior EU official said, in quote, "If you ask me if we are driving straight into a wall, then the answer is yes." End quote.
Oh god, I love Ursula. I mean, I hate Ursula von der Leyen, but I love that. Then like we've reached a level of just like someone who should have never been anywhere close to. She doesn't really have any legitimate governing power if we like truly think about it. But
no, absolutely not.
Someone who then has now been like so, you know, falsely put on a pedestal of like, wow, go job, go girl, like CEO fucking of Europe, whatever, and is like maybe one of the single stupidest people on the entire continent.
I think it's like, I think even the girl boss stuff was overwrought because I don't even think that was true. We forget that in like 2019 when she gets the position, she was meant to be like a quiet, nothing candidate.
Yeah. She was replacing Manfred Weber because no one knew who he was.
No one knew who he was. And the people who did know who he was hated him and thought it was like, why is this disgusting gremlin speaking to me? So like Ursula von der Leyen was meant to be like a keep your head down ass commission president, and the exact opposite has fucking happened, where she's like done the executive commissionership in the same way that George W. Bush did like the executive presidency, and she's trying to like ram shit through without like due process. Like that is like, again, the Financial Times has done the reporting on this of people being like, I hate working with her. And these are people like in the council. These are other commissioners. This is like people in the council are like ministers from like national governments.
Yeah.
Who like Ursula von der Leyen, like if you're the foreign minister getting talked like of any country, if you're the foreign minister of Malta, Ursula von der Leyen should not have the gall to fucking speak to you. Like if Ursula von der Leyen says anything to you as like the foreign minister of a fake country like Luxembourg, you still get to go around and be like, how dare you speak to me?
Yeah.
Like, that should not be like a thing.
I still don't know how she, and I mean, I do know in the sense of how she ended up getting reelected, by the sense that then that it will always be a conservative head of the European Union just because they're the biggest bloc. But
yeah,
I do not know how she is just like not, because they've tried to remove her from office multiple times. Just like,
yeah. And also like Kaya Kallas as an addition to her like team has also been kind of disastrous as well.
Oh, because
like,
she's like it's just the two of them. It's like two of the dumbest people that were ever in their own national politics coming together to create one like superbly stupid individual. Kaya Kallas being like, what is it? Her whole like moronic historical revision of World War II should have been enough to get her like removed from office. Just being like, oh well, they think that
even the things she said to Ireland.
Yeah,
were
just
like,
get rid
you
of
don't
her.
understand colonialism.
You're
Should've been
literally you got removed from your position because you were doing business in a country that then you pretend to fucking hate. You should not be anywhere near this, but because the European Union has just been created as just this infinite fail upward of your like moronic, you know, like fail son or daughter who just like can't have a real job that isn't just financial crimes, as we also saw last week.
Legitimately, she's like the biggest like. She's the biggest Nepo fucking baby. They're both Nepo babies.
They're all Nepo babies. My favorite bit of Ursula von der Leyen fun fact things is that her family was so rich, wealthy, and probably connected to Nazis that they were afraid that she was going to be abducted by the RAF, so they secretly moved her to London. You don't have that fear in this country in the 1970s if your family isn't somehow fucking related to Nazis. You know, like you can only be a Nepo baby in Germany if you are a Nazi. Like there's no other possibility.
Like
her great grandfather fucking was like a Confederate general or something. It's just like it's rotten down the entire fucking family tree.
The von der Leyen family is hilarious. Even like Kaya Kallas's dad was like head of like fisheries for like the Soviet government of. Like, she talks all these, like, ill shit about the Soviet Union
Her
times.
grandfather was, like, deported or something for being, like, a nationalist, which in that period of time means brackets probably a fascist. So it's like...
Yeah, but her father was, like, fairly senior in Soviet.
Yeah, none of these people have ever had a real job in their life, and I wish they would do the other European fail something. It's becoming a fucking DJ.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so Bart Weaver, so they're trying to ram through this this asset seizing thing. Bart Weaver is the one holding it up, and first, there's the concerns thing about like how do we handle blowback from this? Is it all going to fall at our fucking doorstep here in Belgium? Then the second thing being like, hey, it kind of looks like America is going to like push through some sort of ceasefire or whatever and bring Russia back into the global economy, whether we fucking like it or not, because they just like refuse to include the Europeans. So like maybe let's pump the brakes on this. He got a weird ally in Maloney. Maloney's also saying that now as well, of like Maloney's also going like we shouldn't send weapons to Ukraine while a ceasefire is potentially being negotiated. Which is, I'm now bringing this into the kind of like slow consent manufacturing of like, we're probably going to have to go along with this, ceasefire negotiation. Because the other thing you had so Maloney's saying this stuff of like, oh, the ceasefire is probably going to happen. She's considered quite close to Trump, etc., etc. You have the president of Finland, Alexander Stubb, who I forgot about him until he posted the most like performative male thing to his Instagram that he'd wrote something for oh god, what was it? Not the Nation, Foreign Affairs. He wrote he wrote a piece for Foreign Affairs. And he had it like printed out all nice on his big like mahogany desk and just took a photo of that. It was like big things coming on his Instagram basically. Yeah. I forgot about him until I was like, oh yeah, because like president in Finland is like the prime minister is the one who matters kind of thing, but like the president's still there. But apparently he's considered like close to Trump as well. And I'm like, maybe. He is very tall and wears a suit, so that can be enough for Trump's. Like, he's like a big guy in a suit. I'm like, yeah,
the
maybe.
Finns, they make him so tall.
So, and he's the one going like, he stated what was it? The Finnish people need to get used to the idea that an unfair peace might be imposed upon the Ukrainians. And it's like, yeah, so if you're saying that, I feel like it's like you kind of think it's going to happen. so like all of that's happening, and then there's this potential idea by Ursula von der Leyen, who I think is just kind of cruel and stupid, that she's going to seize all the Russian assets, probably on the eve of Russia being allowed like back into SWIFT banking or whatever. And it's going to be a disaster because at the same time, Europe is also looking to court more like foreign investment. But how the fuck do you do that when you like, hey, but we seize the assets of like this country? It's bad. It's bad.
I mean, she's going to spend it on one large pony.
Oh yeah,
all whatever,
I've
200 billion.
engineered-
How much is that? 200 billion euros of assets or whatever.
210. Yeah,
Yeah, a lot. That's
okay,
that's
yeah.
a lot of ponies.
It's a lot of ponies, I think. How much could a pony cost? $10? Then, sorry, last fucking point I have to make about all this, because like people rightfully pointing out, I saw some academics on Twitter kind of rightfully point out that like in this whole conversation of Bart Weaver is evil and he's like a Russian puppet and he's stopping this very sensible plan for funding Ukraine. In that conversation that's not being said is that Europe is not willing to take out debt to fund Ukraine, right? This is the thing, like
Europe's not willing to take out debt to fund their own shit.
yeah, exactly. But like this whole like, oh, it's existential. We so believe in the Ukrainians. It's like, do like something then. Like this is the thing. Like you're not willing to do this.
Yeah. I mean,
then,
it goes back onto the thing that we've said multiple times on the show. If a country is not willing to militarily go against the Russian military and expand the conflict to the rest of Europe, which they're not going to do, then the only other option is that, I mean, you can't throw weapons constantly into a country that then is just like also dwindling military aid, like losing the amount of people that then are willing or unwilling to go onto the front. You know, Ukraine has also had a massive recruitment problem. They can't replenish the numbers of things that they've lost.
The one figure that I got that like was just horrifying was apparently that it currently stands in Ukraine that there's 3 deaths for every birth.
That's not normal. Also, it's
not sustainable.
Oh, of course not. And it's also this thing too of just, it's like the general, I think that then that everyone's brains just got too polluted from reading fake numbers from like the Kyiv Independent for too fucking long. The total amount of like people that then have been lost in this conflict is like well over 1 million. All right. The Russian military alone has had like allegedly like 700,000 casualties, you know, like for this has not been the fantasy of like, oh, Ukraine just like showing it to the Russians. Both sides have had massive losses, massive losses. And yes, fine. Europe is totally fine with just having a meat grinder just exist forever as long as they can like kind of more or less profit on it, as we've seen. I mean, just Germany is fine with just said. I mean, Germany will debate about it for 3 seconds and then end up just sending everything. Like Ukraine doesn't need fucking tanks. And tanks are completely useless to a fucking DJI drone with a grenade strapped to it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's very clear that it's like we're getting to the point of that it's like Ukraine militarily is exhausted. No matter how much shit you throw at them, they're not going to be able to then like, you know, physically, you know, do it. And fine, sure, put a fucking Rheinmetall factory in like, you know, I don't know, some, you know, in somewhere in Ukraine. Doesn't, you know, like that's the thing that they're going for at the end of this. It's just like we're going to get to the Trump's plan is going to weirdly probably have a moment too where then like Europe is actually going to like latch onto it because they're like, oh, actually we can just like do also the like we've been economically exploiting Ukraine for military stuff. We can now economically exploit Ukraine for the other stuff that we like. They'll never join the European Union. They'll never be on the euro. They'll probably never join NATO. You know, they'll just exist as this like limbo country where then we can just turn into our own. I mean, like a country that then is like wealthy in natural resource can just become our own personal European Iraq, and that's what it's going to end up becoming.
Yeah, like we'll just do the infrastructure scams, whatever. Like I think the point I was making with like Maloney's comments and stuff like that is I think it's already starting to happen where. Yeah. The European leaders are willing to go along with the like there was the counter proposal that Europe made, but that was like so hastily written and didn't really change a lot of substance. It said that like the Trump one was like Ukraine's peacetime army is capped at 700,000 troops, which is huge, by the way.
Yeah, it's that's like
massive.
Probably never going to happen.
No, you wouldn't be able to sustain that army during peacetime.
Like Germany's military is not even at 200,000 members.
No, not even Poland.
Yeah,
like Poland's a comparable.
I think the only country that then like might have an army that big is like Turkey or something like that.
Or it's going to be like, well, yeah, Turkey has like the second largest troops in NATO, right? It's like US and then Turkey.
The US has like 1.5 million or something like that, I think, of like a standing army.
As soon as I saw that, I was like, 'cause I'm such like a not a military person. I was like, what's a normal military size? Like everyone's getting really angry about this cap thing. And then I was like, okay, population of Ukraine before the war, about 40 million people. I know some other 40 million people countries, that's like Spain and Poland. What are their armies? Oh, it's 230,000. And like that's fucking I love spending money on guns, Poland.
Yeah.
Like even in their wildest fever dreams, I was looking at like pro-militarism Polish people, and they were like, we need an army of 500,000. It's like, okay, that's still less than 800,000. But then like in the European counter proposal, it was like, oh yeah, you can't cap it at 700,000. We agree to a cap of 800,000. It was like, okay, what? That seems like such a, like in the grand scheme of things, a relatively insignificant difference. And then it was like, we kind of largely agree with almost everything. The only thing they really opposed was like the Trump one was like, Ukraine will never join NATO. And then the European one was like, currently there is no consensus that Ukraine should join NATO. So it's fine. Don't worry, Russia.
Yeah. Well, like, again, it's the thing that then Russia doesn't even at this point care about, because Putin's like mentioned on multiple occasions that he's like, I don't like, he's like, whatever, you know.
Going back to the White House document, they explicitly write down that NATO should not expand.
I mean,
they don't want NATO to expand.
They've been saying this since like the fucking 90s, and they've been doing it. So I don't know. Add
but like
Kazakhstan
I kind of
to NATO at this point.
But going back to the clowns in charge of the circus aspect of like Trump 2 cabinet, is I think like they're the ones who believe that.
Yeah.
Like you finally got like the Republican Party that believed the lie the Republicans were always selling. So it's kind of like, yeah, maybe. Anyway, God, we spent a lot of time talking about this.
You brought it up.
Annoying. I did bring it up. Yeah, you always get angry at me because I'm the one who brings up things in the podcast.
Dude, I told you I didn't want to talk about the Russia-Ukraine conflict. I mean,
I like, yeah, we reveal like 6 years into the podcast that I tricked you on. I told you it was going to be like we were going to be like a pickup artist influencer podcast, and I just
Ciarán, I've been in the show for 6 years. Why aren't we talking about alpha male shit?
I know, right?
Why am I not talking about my steroid regimen?
Yeah, everyone who's seen me is always like, that's an alpha male.
Exactly.
Right
Yeah.
Yeah. For anyone who hasn't seen a picture of me before, I'm kind of like Ned Flanders if he couldn't grow a mustache. Anyway, that's been an episode of Corner Späti. It's been a fun time on the continent. Again, what are we gonna mention? Hey, it's been a while, so let's do the plugs. For €5 a month over on patreon.com/Corner Späti, you can get an extra episode of this podcast a week. Hooray! Also, our website, operationglad.io, while we were gone, got a bit of a revamp. May have noticed, may not have. Yeah. You can go check that out.
Shout out to our CIA handlers for handling that one.
Oh, absolutely. They're like, Ciarán's on paternity leave. Let's do something nice for him.
Thanks, Bryson. Thanks, Rando.
We are now doing written news of the week stuff. A newsletter. GYRONEWS, official pronunciation. GYRONEWS.
Hell yeah.
Not GYRONEWS. Definitely not. Yeah, we've got like 3 of those out, probably 4 by the time you're listening to this. And the newsletter is free. you will notice there is an addition. There is a €5 subscription that is a voluntary thing if you want to. In the future, we'll probably. I'm working on the technology at the moment, but in the future, we'll put the bonus episode of the podcast there as well, so that you can subscribe only in one place, and that'd be nice. But at the moment, it's just voluntary. So yeah, yeah, check it out. We've done reporting on a whole bunch of stuff, and yeah. Anything else?
Nothing that's concretely planned yet. I'm doing on the 22nd of January. I'm doing we're gonna have a live talk. It's not kind of be an episode, of course, but trying something new. It'll be at Cafe Angers in Neukölln at 7 p.m. I believe.
Nice.
I believe I've had to change the topic. Probably something Palestine related because I was a bit over ambitious with trying to find people to talk and realizing that then I didn't have enough time to plan this. So yeah, just keep your eyes peeled for that. The date and time are set and the location are set. Everything else I still need to do. I got about a month's worth of time. It'll be fine. It'll be fun. Come by. Listen to people who are, smarter than me, talk with me in a probably more casual than, as you've seen probably in other discussions, format. And, you can also stick around and have a drink, I guess. It is at a bar. So,
Hell yeah.
And I think we're going to make it free. It's going to be in conjunction with the Left Berlin. So, just keep your eyes peeled for that. Date, though, is January 22nd. All right, so it's a Thursday. Cool. I'm very sorry. I couldn't get the weekend.
Right. Thursday in Berlin is fine. That's the
Thursday
weekend.
In Berlin is fine. It is, yes. Yeah. Thursday the 22nd.
Nice. And also, shirts are still available. I saw people occasionally buy shirts, so go do that. It's fun.
You look cool, and if people ask where you got it, send them our way. We can make them look cool too.
And if you want to pretend it's not a podcast, you can do that.
This is literally why we made the shirts that way.
Yeah, exactly. I'll probably make a new shirt in the new year. I have some ideas.
New shirt, new year, new shirt, new me.
Old me.
Old me. Same old stinky me with my stinky feet, and my wife with her stinky feet.
Her stinky feet who lives in my phone.
We brought it back to the stinky feet game.
All right,
and with that, we will catch you on the bonus baby.
It's back. It's so easy to podcast. What are we talking about? All right, see it.
Bye.